Okay, so we've got the Astros and the Red Sox again. I just made a video yesterday on Justin Verlander dropping an F-bomb on Alex Cora, and someone in the comments wanted me to look at this play right here. So we have, I believe it's the fourth inning, 1 out, Astros are up 2-0. Maldonado's at the plate. He's hitting 180 this year, so not a great hitter. No speed, really no speed at all. This situation typically probably not going to warrant a bunt, especially with a hitter of this speed. Again, 1 out. I guess you can sacrifice the runners over, but most teams are not going to do that. Now, let's talk about the bunt coverage. If there were nobody out, what would happen? If there was no one out, there'd be probably a much higher chance that there could be a bunt. And so the typical bunt coverage when you have runners at first and second, the third baseman is just going to read the bunt. So he's only going to come and get this bunt if it's bunted hard at him. The pitcher is going to have the third base side. The first baseman is going to be crashing and have the first base side. The second baseman is going to go to first. The shortstop is going to go to second. If the ball is not bunted hard at the third baseman, he is going to go here in case it's a poor bunt right back to the pitcher, or maybe it's a bunt right out front. We can throw the ball to third base. So that's your typical bunt defense. So let's play this for a second here. We've got the square right here, right? So it's a late square. He doesn't square until the pitcher's hands have already been broken. Now it's a late square. So the defense doesn't really have much time to react. The ball is going to be bunted to the first base side. Now typically what you're going to do on this is you're going to bunt the ball this way to make the third baseman make a decision. He either has to come or he's going to go to third base. But because it's not a true sacrifice situation, which would be nobody out, the first baseman is back, he's not in, so technically you can bunt the ball to the first base side. So he bunts the ball to the first base side. Now you can see both runners are off. They see the ball down, the ball is bunted, the ball is right on the line. This is a really tough play. Catcher's going to come out. Now again, Maldonado is really, really slow. As my dad would say, it's one thing to run the bases with a piano on your back. It's another thing to stop and play it. Maldonado is stopping and playing the piano. You can see the catcher is able to get out of his stance. He's going to basically follow him up the line. He's going to grab the ball here. He's going to flip the first. The problem is nobody takes home. And so the runner is able to easily score there. Now let's back this up again. So a couple of things. One, it shows what small ball can do. Small ball isn't a huge part of the game anymore, but if a defense is going to give it to you, then you can see this is a difficult play to defend. Even if you do push the ball this way, first baseman's got a long way to get here. Second baseman's never going to get the first from right there. Teams aren't put into situations where they have to defend small ball as much anymore because teams really don't bunt very much. And again, if this was a faster runner, he probably beats it out here anyway, and then you still get a man on third and a run scored. So where do the Red Sox mess up? Well, again, here's the bunt. The catcher's got to go for this ball, even though it's very far from home. You see where the ball lands right there. That's where it takes its first bounce. So catcher's got to go for this ball. Pitcher is going to have to go for it too. First baseman can't get there. He's too far away. Here's the thing. Once you, as a pitcher, realize right there, you realize that the catcher is going to field this ball and you're not going to field it, you always have to think about the next base. So we had runners in first and second. Third base is covered by Devers, obviously. We've got to get to the plate. If the pitcher had picked up this ball, the catcher then immediately has to go back to the plate. So these two have to be communicating. And if you're the guy that isn't fielding the ball, again, you just have to be heads up enough to say, I've got to get to the next base. You can see all it takes is that little bit of hesitation right here where he's not moving. And it's not until he peeks, right? He peeks his head right there and goes, oh no, he's going home. At that point, it's too far for him to get back and try to catch this ball. First baseman tries to lead Devers, who's on a sprint. Some people might say, well, maybe Devers should have got there. Again, look at where Devers is. When he sees the bunt down, he has to go to third, right? So he's going to go to third because it's not bunted hard at him, so he covers third. And then at this point, I mean, right there, it's a foot race between these two guys, and Devers isn't exactly the fleetest of foot, so he's going to have a hard time beating him. The heads-up play by the base runner, again, if we look at the third base coach, he's not saying go, he's not waving him home, he's just letting him read it. He rounds here, he puts his head up, he sees that no one is covering, pitcher's back is to him, catcher's fielding the ball, there's no way someone gets back in time, and so he says, I'm going to beat Devers to the plate. And he does. So really, heads-up base running there, but also poor execution by the Red Sox. Particularly the pitcher, he has to be heads up. On defense, you're either fielding a ball, you're covering a base, or you're backing up a base. If you're not doing any of those three, then you're doing something wrong. So once you don't field the ball, you have to be aware, especially on bunts, you have to be aware that there could be a vacated base, and you have to go find it. And as a pitcher, it's just always going to be the lead base. Another time that you'll see something similar happen is if we get rid of this runner at second base and we just take runner at first. We'll get a bunt to the third baseman. Third baseman will come in and field the ball. This runner will wheel around this way. Pitcher will end up just spectating. They won't go to the next base, and the runner will go first to third because the third baseman comes in, throws the ball here, and nobody is at third base. So pitchers always have to pay attention. Make sure, again, if you don't field the ball, go to the lead base. Here it would be first, or here it would be home. If it's just a runner on first, third baseman throws it, you've got to go to third. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you later.